Hello and welcome back to another Warcraft video. This time we're going to be speculating about the release date for Warlords of Draenor, and this is based off some new information that we have received via Helinka. Basically, it is about a new PvP season, so overall this should be quite an interesting talk. So this definitely throws things up in air. A lot of people are expecting a kind of like an April to May-ish launch window, and honestly, that's looking increasingly more unlikely. So first of all, let's talk about PvP systems, or seasons, and a whole bunch of dates. So we are currently on PvP Season 14, and it has lasted 16 weeks. Season 13 lasted 26 weeks. Season 12 lasted 22 weeks. Season 11, which was the last one of Cataclysm, was a whopping 38 weeks. Season 10 lasted 21 weeks, and Season 9 lasted 28 weeks. So overall, this probably means that if we were going to go on a early estimate, this would put Season 14 ending on the first reset day of February. Now, I think that rather than doing the Cataclysm-style 38-month season, they're basically just going to split it into two, and that's why they're having Season 15. I guess there's probably plenty of PvP reasons for doing this. I know there was some oddities and imbalance going on at the very start of the season, and of course a new season does certainly revitalize the scene a little bit. Now I will, for my estimate down here, be going on dates that are basically, I'm going for 20 weeks per season instead of maybe 22 or 24, which is what it has been previously. I just think that because this is an expansion one, it's the first time they've split that final PvE tier into two PvP tiers, that they probably will be shorter, so I don't think that's a terribly ridiculous assumption to make. Anyway, so if Season 15 were to last 20 weeks, then that would put the Warlords of Draenor systems patch coming out 20 weeks after Season 15 begins, right? So let's go on this estimate of 20 weeks and say that Season 15 would begin on the first reset day, which is, I think, Tuesday the 4th of February, and then 20 weeks after that would be the 24th of June. Now, this does actually coincide with another bit of information. The Warlords of Draenor novel, which is called War Crimes and is by Christie Golden, is coming out on the 3rd of June 2014. So first of all, I do not believe for a second that they would determine the expansion release date based on a book, but I do think that the book release date would be based on an expansion, so therefore one is indicative of the other. Now, both the Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria expansions had pre-expansion books, and the Mists of Pandaria book released on the 28th of August, 2012, and then Mists of Pandaria came out on the 25th of December. Cataclysm's book came out on the 19th of October, and then Cataclysm released on the 7th of December. Now, I think Cataclysm was actually bumped back 2 weeks or something like that, so it basically seems like the kind of base amount of time, like the delay between the book and the expansion, seems to be around a month. Now, it's worth also saying that for Wrath of the Lich King, it did have a book, but it came out after the expansion, and it was also 6 years ago, so I don't really know if that's worthy of consideration at the minute. So the thing is, right, this does actually perfectly correlate with this whole 20-week PvP season estimate. Now, another thing is that the game comes out on a Tuesday. Warlords will, Cataclysm did, so did Mists of Pandaria. Basically, all games seem to come out on a Tuesday if it's going to have a retail release because of America. Now, this would put Warlords of Draenor, the Warlords of Draenor systems patch coming out on June the 24th, which would be the last week of the that PvP season, and then the expansion itself coming out on either the 1st or the 8th of July. Personally, if I was betting on one, I'd bet on the 8th. Usually the pre-patch patch is a month, or the pre-expansion patch is a month long, but I actually do remember a while back seeing that the systems patch for Warlords will be comparatively shorter to some of the previous ones we've had, so let's just say 2 to 3 weeks. This basically is putting the expansion coming out somewhere in July and leaning towards early, but I think just to give a little bit of kind of slack, I'm going to say from anywhere from the 1st to, I don't know, the 31st of July. July's a 31 month, isn't it? Yes, it is. So I think that's roughly when we're going to see Warlords. Now, I did make a few assumptions here, of course, and really I think these are all things that can be justified given the information that we have. Also, this is a speculation video, so if you came here looking for an exact date, then you are going to be disappointed, though the exact date was probably the 8th of July. Some may even say that my estimate's actually pretty early, and I wouldn't blame them. A lot of people are thinking it'll be quite late. So first of all, what do I think about this release date? Well, first of all, I think it's a little bit too damn long. Right, so if this PvP season patch doesn't include any new PvE content, then a massive portion of the player base will be left without content for 10 months. Dragon Soul did tell us that that was just too damn long to go without some major PvE content. Then, because of Flex and LFR, players have really been able to tear through Siege of Orgrimmar, and at this stage, anyone who wants to kill Garrosh has probably done so already, and then everyone bar the odd Xiaohao reputation farmer is done with the Timeless Isles. Burning through raids this quickly because of LFR has been okay, because we have had a content patch every 3 months in Pandaria in the form of 5.1 and 5.3, and that's what's tided us over. So now that we know that they will be releasing a patch for the new PvP season, it means that it's certainly possible that there will be new PvE content. The team has increased by 50% since it, in comparison to its pre-Miss of Pandaria levels. That's the development team. So I don't think it's crazy to think that we could actually get something. Perhaps one of these subs teams is ahead of schedule and they're able to go back and churn out some stuff for 5.5. And then 5.5 itself, well, this was the patch that was supposedly going to happen, then apparently cancelled, and this would suggest otherwise. In regards to PvE stuff, they certainly have had probably a decent amount of preliminary work done on the patch before they decided to scrap it, because there was definitely a period of a few months where they did say it would be most likely a thing. So resurrecting it may not be a terribly hard task. Some people have actually said that we could have a small Rathian raid. Now, in BlizzCon, they did say that they were going to be using Rathian's character in the future, so this would have to be one of those raids where Rathian throws a hissy fit, gathers together a few bosses, and we kill them. Honestly, I don't really know if that would happen, actually. Now, there is one other thing, right? So, July, I know at least over here, the first 2 weeks of July are kind of the traditional summer holidays. Do Blizzard really want to be releasing an expansion at a time that is considered to be a holiday time? A lot of people are going to be busy with going on a vacation or like with their family and just various things like that. So I don't know if that's really if that really makes too much sense. Now, if that doesn't make sense, then it could mean that maybe, fuck it, Warlords is actually coming out in April, and they're going to be really short PvP seasons. Or maybe it means it's coming out in September. Still, overall, this expansion, I think it's got a really weird release date. Not a terrible lot of big games come out in and around the summer period, because traditionally that's when a lot of people end up like not playing World of Warcraft. I'm sure everyone watching this video who has had a raid team knows about the kind of summer blues where a lot of your raid team members are just kind of doing other things, really. So that's definitely something to consider. Also, there's 2 other big games coming out. I think Elder Scrolls Online, is it coming out in April? I think it's April. And then WildStar is probably coming out maybe a month or 2 after that. This does mean that there may be a significant period, 2 to 3 months, in which there will be no new World of Warcraft expansion, but 2 new MMOs on the market. Basically, this is saying to people, well, you can just jump into these 2 MMOs right now, and they can will be able to pick up the slack from WoW until Warlords comes out. So yeah, there's definitely a big chance that those 2 MMOs are going to benefit from a Warlords delay. If you would even call this a delay, you kind of can't, because we were never really given a firm release. But it certainly does seem a little bit like this expansion is coming out perhaps a bit later than a lot of people thought, especially with Blizzard dropping lots of kind of hints in BlizzCon saying, oh, we're further along than you may think, and stuff like that. Like, they literally did say sentences like that. So, yeah, I don't know, it's a big old topic. The last thing to say, really, and this is really the last the last words I have for this video, they usually do something to mark the release of another MMO, in that they have a patch or a beta or something. So I'm going to say that the beta for Warlords of Draenor will probably come out to coincide with the release of Elder Scrolls Online. Not coincide, probably 2 weeks before, but something like that. A lot of the people who had been predicting an April release, a late April release, were saying that perhaps it's a late January or early February beta. Well, because we're bumping everything ahead 2 months, I think it makes sense for this to come in, for the beta to come in just before Elder Scrolls Online. Anyway, it's a bit of an interesting topic. Tell me, what do you think about my prediction? Do you agree with it? Do you think it's a load of crap? When do you think it will come out? And do you have any cool evidence to support that I've missed? It would be really cool to know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider dropping a like. It really helps me out. And I'll see you next time.